Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. Among people who are experts in sculpture, one of the greatest sculptures they believe that has ever been produced, and certainly one of the most famous, is a work by the French sculptor Rodin, and it's called The Thinker. It's in a museum in France, and it shows a naked man sitting deep in thought. People have been captivated by it, just something about the sculpture that makes people stop and look and wonder. It's been viewed as a symbol of philosophy, and people have come up with all fanciful ideas about what the thinker is thinking about. People have said it represents mankind breaking free of religion and being able to think for himself and the power of human reason and other very fanciful ideas. However, these overlook the context in which Rodin produced this sculpture, because it was originally designed to be part of another sculpture which was called The Gates of Hell. And The Gates of Hell is another sculpture by Rodin that basically it's based on Dante's Inferno, his books about hell, about the different circles of hell. And so the thinker was supposed to be a man contemplating eternity, contemplating heaven and hell, and that inspired Rodin to produce this amazing sculpture of the thinker, because these are the things that we really need to think deeply about. You know, there was a time in my life when I had no interest in God, where I had no desire to know him, to follow him, or even to believe that he existed. And at that time, when I was very far from God, I reached a point where I came very close to death. And when I came that close to death, I suddenly found, even though I would have called myself an atheist and didn't believe in God, didn't believe in heaven, didn't believe in hell, I suddenly found myself terrified at the thought of going into an eternity separated from God and under his judgment. That led me on a journey till I surrendered my life to Jesus Christ, because I thought deeply, not deeply about the meaning of life, not deeply about the kind of philosophy I used to spout off with others when I'd had a few drinks, but to think deeply about the thing that really matters. Where do we spend eternity? The doctrine of hell is a Christian doctrine. It's part of the historic faith of the church. A lot of people don't like talking about it, and we don't like the idea of trying to scare people into heaven by telling them they're going to hell. And in fact, in the Bible, Jesus, when he spoke about hell, spoke more to his followers about hell than he did to the people who were the gross sinners. He basically wanted hell to be a motivation for us to reach out in love and to share the love of God with others. But hell certainly is part of the biblical belief. It's part of the Christian doctrine. It's part of the historic faith of the church. There have been people who have tried to do away with the concept of hell. They've tried to explain it away. They've tried to construct a theology that doesn't include hell. But such a theology cannot be faithful to the Bible, or indeed to Jesus, who actually mentioned hell more than he mentioned heaven. I don't rejoice at the idea of anybody going to hell. When I think about hell, well, like the thinker, I contemplate hell, and I'm no longer contemplating hell to do my own destiny, because I know I've committed my life to Jesus Christ, and I'm saved not by my works or how religious I am, but I'm saved by his glorious grace. But when I think about hell, it does spur me on to thank God for what he saved me from, and a desire to help others to know Jesus Christ for themselves. So when it comes to hell, don't be afraid to think about it. Don't try and do away with the biblical doctrine, but think about it, and may it spur us on to be more compassionate, more loving, and more gracious to others. In Jesus' name. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.